Verkk. Verkk. There it is. Verkk. It's a good thing I checked. I thought it was Verkko. Verkk. Peek past my setup here. Yeah, Verkk. Cool, Verkk. So, Kladis Studios. Anthony Kladis is the owner, maker, operator, the man who makes these. So, I've been watching Anthony. I've been lurking, watching him on Facebook on the Werkks group lately a lot. Buying lots of wraps and stuff, and buying and selling, slinging wraps as you would. And he's been doing his research, I'd say. That's what that is, I think. He's been researching, because then he's come up with this. He's had an Etsy page for a while. Kladis 3D Studios, right there. So that's where you pick up this thing on Etsy. Is this the same name? So yeah, Kladis 3D Studios. Okay, so this is the Verkk. So nerds, let's get Verkked. Let's Verkk it. Let's get Verkked. Verkk you. It's a cool word. I don't know where he got it from, but I just been doing that. Let's get Verkked. Verkk in hell, man. You know. And anyway, I'll shut up. Okay, so this thing. Originally, I bought a different one. I bought one when he came out with it. I was like, heck yeah, man. I want to grab that. I want to see what that's like. I want to see what you've been learning from, the other sliders you've been buying and the wrapped and all that stuff, right? So originally he sent me this other one, and made me almost spit my drink out, because as I'm opening up the package, this thing falls out. Bit of an inside joke that not all of you will get. Maybe I'll put the video over here, a little clip of it, and then you'll get what he means. But God, it made me laugh. That was pretty funny. I'm like, what the fuck's this bag of dirt doing in here? Flip it over. Anyway, so I bought this one. And then basically, like, immediately after it's shipped, he tells me, basically, I don't like that one I made. I hope it gets lost in the mail. I'm sending you a new one. It's bigger improvement over the other one. And he was right. And the two biggest things that happened is that the plates changed. So let's just show you here. So we got this version, and then he made the plates better on that one. So apparently he tried something like over 60, I think he said, combinations of plate designs and stuff like that to find what worked the best. So I don't even make these things, and I can tell you what happened here that made this better. So when this thing first came out of the package, I went to slide it, and it had been, traveling, and it just kind of been sitting in this position for a while, and it was like, am I even going to be able to, break it from its little, fake seal that it's made with itself, with the magnets and stuff? And what happened there is it's just flat, right? It's flat. It's no good. You're never gonna have a slider slide perfectly if it's totally flat and smooth. That's just not what something's gonna slide on easily, unless it's covered in something like Teflon tape or something like that, right? So you could do that. You could have one like this and cover it in Teflon tape, and it probably slide okay. But I'm kind of against the tape thing, because I don't really want to spend money on a slider and then have myself just, need to put tape on it. It doesn't make any sense. I want it to work. I want it to work how it's supposed to. So what I'm going to try to get at here. So what he did is he basically, I don't know if he knows that he kind of borrowed a little bit from Compiform's idea. It's not really borrowing, because it's just like basically just going with opposing patterns. So this one is, these circles this way, and this one is these circles this way. If he had done same, it wouldn't have slid as well, right? Because you've got, basically, either way to describe it is if you had line, just like all these lines going in here like this, and then this other side had all these lines, those would just, get caught up on each other. But then if you went all these lines this way and then all these lines this way, it acts as like this like rail system. It like they're sliding crisscross across each other, right? So it just works better, okay, to have opposing patterns. And when I say Compiform, it's just like when I saw that, it instantly reminded me of the V3, how it has opposing patterns, right? So it's waves going that way, waves going the other way. And that is what makes this one slide so well. If it didn't have that, it wouldn't be sliding very well. So there you go. So he does that well, right? This new one's doing that well. It's doing the sliding well. He got that figured out. Then what else changed is that this one is quiet because he secured all the magnets. Now, something I have noticed with the very limited experience I have had with 3D printed sliders is that if you have the magnets secure, you just end up with this slider that's just like, this kind of works, but it's pretty quiet, right? Like, kind of, it's not as satisfying. Okay, you kind of almost have to have the magnets move around, unless you're going for a slider that you just want to use silently. Like I can just go. Like I felt the haptic thing sort of with it, but I can make it essentially silent. So if you need to if you're a librarian and you just have to have a Fidget or something, I don't know. Could be good. But what he did here was he increased the holes for the magnets so that they all rattle a little bit, right? And he likes to rattle just as much as I do. And this made it much more satisfying. It's actually louder now on the side click. You can get sometimes yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I'll talk about what it's doing right for me and then what I'm, could do without, right? So those are the improvements from this one. So that one's over now, right? This is better. I've heard since that he's made even more improvements. I don't know what those are. So what this is getting right is it's getting the sliding right. And it's getting grip right. Another thing that I get reminded of, as soon as I see this, I get reminded of Rapid EDC's mesh pattern that he uses on his mesh slider, his square one. So his slides really well too, but he has to use tape on one side, right? If he doesn't have this tape on this side, it comes shipped with this tape on it, right? But if he doesn't have that on there, you're basically dealing with two of these sides, right? So these, when they're together, it does slide, but it's sticky. It's a bit of a sticky wicket. So that's what I get reminded of with that. I don't know how these things are made. I don't know if it's you go into a program and find patterns, or you can just tell it to print whatever you want. But it's a good grip pattern for sure. But kind of looks exactly the same to me. Fair enough. The X thing. So everyone always says like, oh, you're copying like Magnus Toad. No, you're not. There's no one that's done an X thing that has like, you know, I've heard that said before, like, oh, the X, it's just the same as you know, Magnus's Toad X or the Magnus. It's like, no, it's not. It's just all it is the X works for, you know, a pushing. You can have a push there, and you have a push there, and you have a, you know, place for that to be there and there. It's just a pattern that works for side pushing and, you know, up pushing. You don't even need it, right? It's not like I'm like going and putting my finger like right there when I do it. Yeah, looks good, right? Get Verkked. Verkks. Doesn't even need it, right? It could be all like just mesh and something, right? Or you could put other ones in there. Either way, you're pushing around ABS resin, right? So grip's gonna be there. So the sliding's working. The grip is working. The sound is working. For me, if you don't like rattle, then don't get it. Don't get it at all. The moves are working. The strength is, so this is probably going to be on parts. This is a hybrid setup in there. That's what kind of caught my eye, because I knew he was like, you know, he's playing with wraps and using the hybrid setup in that, and realized that that's a really good thing. Have some stronger magnets in the corners. I can't tell if there's not bigger ones in there. It's just those are probably stronger than those ones, but they're all the same size. So that's working. It's just that when you are dealing with resin sliders, I think you have to be really careful with not making it too strong, and it kind of means that you have to end up having a bit of a weaker magnet setup. It doesn't matter because, you know, it's light, right? It's super light. I should probably weigh this thing. You guys know. Something. Let's see what it weighs. This is light, 32 grams. Actually, it's heavier than I thought it would be, but it's light. So you're barely gonna feel it. I like light and heavy sliders. It doesn't matter to me really. It's got a very addictive kind of sound to it. I have been enjoying it. I have been bringing it to work, and usually when I bring my fidgets to work, I will bring them in a, you know, case or something like that, and I will only play with them like at my breaks. But this one, since it is, you know, more affordable, I'm gonna get a price for you on this one. So I'm gonna get you a US price, because I'm in silly old Canada here, and most of you are in the US. So this is like a 35 bucks, essentially. 35 bucks, and you get this. You get to get Verkked. So, you ever go to drop your slider and you? That's happened with me. I was just like, oh god, it's like going to super like, I'm dropping a baby reaction mode. But the thing is, you don't have to worry about dropping this one. You can just throw this thing down. It doesn't matter, right? So that's why I was keeping it at work. I was keeping it in my pocket, not really caring if it fell, and you know, even if there's a little dirt in there, it's not affecting it. It still slides. You can just wash it off. So the durability is awesome. You know, the sliding action, totally great. Works without tape. Love it. Grip, amazing. The sound, very satisfying. Clicks could be a little louder. You're not going to get it. I think the mic is going to make that seem like it's louder than it is, but for comparison, this is what I would consider in real life pretty loud one, and then this is just ridiculous. And then so hopefully that'll give you a kind of reference to the sound of this one. So the main cool sounds are coming from the kind of the sliding and the crunching on the slides. So yeah, this has been like all week since I got it. I've just been, had it work in my pocket. And then when I'm, sitting, thinking about something I'm building, or I'm like laying out, the next part of the building or whatever that I'm doing, I can like bring it out, kind of have it there and play with it and think, be my little thinking, fidget. And I don't look too crazy because most people at work know that I'm really into fidgets. But for $35, it's not too shabby. So, yeah, like magnet strength, I could say that like people that want something stronger, they're going to be disappointed, but I can't say that that's something that needs to change, because I truly believe that if it got any stronger, it's going to start making it even quieter, and you might start having like sliding issues, because you don't want this to be gripping too much, right? So I think there's a very fine line when you're doing 3D printed sliders to make sure that the magnets are the right strength for your slide plates and stuff. But real kudos to really finding a right kind of sliding plates and figuring out that the opposing patterns are where it is at. Because now you have made it that not everything is contacting, because it doesn't need to. It's the same thing, with the wrapped. How it's all, just on the edges that it contacts. That's what makes them so good. No point trying to defy physics. Otherwise, the only thing that I'm not into entirely is just like the logo on the side. Could do without it. It's just a personal thing. I've seen that he's done new ones where he's put just Kladis in the center of this thing. I think that's classier. Me personally, I would just go with that, and I would just leave it blank on the sides. But that's just my own kind of thing. I get that you don't want to brand things so like people know where you're getting it from and stuff like that. But in a whole game like this, little fidget thing, where really it's like word of mouth is the best form of advertising, and like almost the only way of advertising. Does it really matter if you have a name on it? Probably not, because if someone sees it, they're going to see you using it, and they're probably going to see it, you out in the wild, like using it or something like that. And they're going to be like, what the heck is that? Where'd you get it? And you're going to tell them, right? You're going to send them to the Etsy page to go get Verkked. So yeah, that's just one little thing. Otherwise, the only other thing is just like, it's something that can't be really criticized upon, is that the weight, you're never going to get the weight that you want out of a 3D printed slider, and you're never going to get the those like being able to get that like really strong haptic feedback from the weight that comes from like metal and stuff. So if you need something that you just need to, this is really durable and like doesn't really, you don't have to worry about it breaking and stuff like that, absolutely. $35, like why not? Like, I'm sitting here talking about this thing, and like I haven't been able to stop using it, right? And I was using it all fast like this right out of the bag. does the nice, it does the section slide like really well. Really well. Super easy. Section slide, you need the right magnet setup to do it the easiest, and never done it this easy as I can with my Magnus King Crab. That's the other one that I can do it just as easy with. But this one might be even easier that I can do it like this. So yeah, other than that, I don't know, I'd probably glue this a little bit more. This kind of bugs me that this is like coming out. So this is obviously like the top body of it, and then you have the slide plate in there, right? So he's done, it's another kind of like thing that's very similar to the wrapped, which is good. I mean, it's probably how it's made. And obviously it's just glued in there, right? But I don't know. It's kind of like, what if we glue this? What if we glue this more? Bring it in. It's a little thing. And then colors, right? I asked for pink because I just like, you know, love pink. And he said, yeah, sure, pink, great. But he sent it in the older one. So my wife has actually claimed this one. She wants it now because it's quieter. She doesn't like that rattle stuff, right? So that one's like hers now. Yeah, $35. Man, why not? A nice little one like this. You can't afford crazy like wrap stuff, but you want to like see if you like something that's it's probably gonna be the closest kind of slider to something higher end, like a Magnus or a Werkks wrap slider that will give you more of a sense of what you're looking at. Definitely. And just like size comparison wise here, you got a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger. Width, essentially the same. It's a good width. It's all the golden ratio, right? Credit cards are golden ratio. That's just that's a width to a length ratio that you can basically put anything in, and it's just one that you see in like naturally occurring in nature. I think it's the ratio of 1.618. If I'm correct, I'm probably wrong. 1.618. And that basically you can take any length measurement and then divide it by, yeah, you would divide a length by 1.618, and you end up getting the width that would go with that length to make it a golden ratio. So like credit cards are done in that. Wraps are. Pretty sure this would fall pretty close to it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, go get Verkked. Why not? That's about all I have to say on it. Pretty damn fun. I'm gonna keep carrying it at work. It's great when I can just reach into my pocket if I have. Even doing it like if I have a long walk across the work site to go like get another tool or something like that. I just pull it out and play with it. It's been nice to actually have something on me, because I don't trust having my nice fidgets on me in my dirty pockets and stuff like that. It just doesn't work. So I've been saving those ones for at lunchtime. And there you go. All right, nerds. That's about it. You know, if you want to go get Verkked, go get Verkked. Kladis 3D Studios. There you go. $35. You know, it's probably even made it better now. It just keeps making improvements, which is good. He wants it to be very good. Anyway, there you go. Okay, let's get out of here.